Hello, this is Tyrell Armstrong for my global health presentation. I'm going to talk about overpopulation in India. So, just a quick overview about the topic. So, the reason I chose this topic because for one, India is the have the second highest population in the world, following right behind China. And with that, while we'll learn later on in the presentation that like India, they're getting ready to surpass China at the world population. However, India just can't afford to take care of all those citizens. And with that, like we know that overpopulation can lead to like overuse of resources, can help spread diseases faster, and overall just lower the quality of life for the people living in that country. So just for background information, so India so so the first time India reported the population is in 1942, and the population back then was 432 million. As since then, it had doubled to about 1.33 1 point yeah 1.339 billion citizens. And with that, like I already said, like India, like the overpopulation leads to like limited resources, such as like right now India like to deal with the overpopulation, like they're getting rid of like farmlands. In India, like the people in that country rely on agriculture to make a living and just to like sustain their life and with that the limited access of food, approximately about 43% of children are being chronically malnourished. And this right here is an index. I'll say it's a world. I'll say it's a graph showing like India population. Goddamn, fuck. Oh, I cut that out. Come on, move. Got my way. There you go. So this right here, like this chart, it shows like the blue is China and the red is India. It's compared to population and their growth rate. And as you can see, like India been slowly catching up to China as China been progressing to try to slow down the growth rate as India like haven't done anything to prevent it. And by 2026, India and China that had about the same population. Right after, in 2027, India will surpass China, and the world population was about approximately estimated about 1.47 billion compared to compared to China's 1.46 billion. So like one of the major factors to like this one of the major factors to this to the population is like early marriage. 'Cause, like in most third world countries, like they tend to like have their kids get married at younger ages because like the life expectancy is so short. And so like with that, while India is not exactly third world, but like it's like third bordering second in a way. Like they'll force like young girls, like to force their young daughters to marry like young men. Like once they're able to bear kids, so that way they can produce a family. Yeah, so they can produce a family. Says in India, like India culture, like they believe that's like one of the sole purpose of females. Like it's like art. They're just there to like have kids and like to support the husband family and vice versa. And because of that, because of that, like these young girls, like they're not getting education, and they're not getting education. They're not learning about like they're not getting like no education. They're not getting any like family planning, any learn about family planning. So they'll just keep producing. So usually like what will happen, like the husband he ask the wife to like have as many kids as possible to like they have like a certain amount of sons, or to the wife like no longer able to bear kids because it that they because with that they believe like bigger families are more likely to be more economically more secured there's just a smaller one. It definitely ones with more males than females. It also the second major issue is like India issue with immigration. Cause right now India is the in the graph on the right in the chart the image on the right, it shows India, China, they show the world like the countries that had like dealing with the most recipients from migrants. And India is number one, followed by China. And because of that, like their neighboring countries such as Bangladesh, Pakistan, Nepal, and Myanmar. I'm not sure I pronounced that correctly. Like those countries, like for example, like Myanmar and Bangladesh right now, like they're dealing with like genocide rape of like their people, and like just poor rulership. So like they'll just move from in like so they'll leave their countries and go to India to take refuge in order to find like a better life. And say with the people from Pakistan and Nepal, because a lot of those countries their issues aren't as bad. Well, Pakistan's about like the same as Bangladesh, Myanmar, like their situation. But Nepal's like while their situation not as bad as theirs, like they just believe like no because Nepal's like such a poor country, they believe like just moving to India, like their country, like they'll be more. Like they believe like they have more opportunities and be able to like live a better life compared to Nepal and Pakistan, like all the other countries, neighboring country. And usually like these countries like they're more northern of India, so like they all migrate from their country to like the city of Assam, like the region of Assam, and like the people of Assam do not take that like the people of Assam they're noticing this issue and try to and they're like and right now like they're rebelling against it. Cause approximately about 300,000 Bangladeshi move into India each year. 40 40,000 Myanmar, like people from Myanmar, and then about like Pakistan, Nepal, it's pretty even. Like it's like half in Bangladesh. So that's like wonder. That's also increasing the country rates. And finally, like India's social norm and judge gender inequality as a whole. So like this is like a prominent thing you see in Southeastern cultures, like Southeastern Asian culture. Like they believe like our females like they believe like sons are necessary or to like the family to survive, because sons are the ones that males they believe like males are more intelligent and more likely to succeed in life. And because of that because of that they want like they just want to like have more males in their family in order to help like provide like to provide be more financially secure, because they have the higher chance of actually making it in those countries compared to females. And with that, like the people like because with that like they'll prioritize the education of males over females. So like the females they'll be uneducated and won't have like they won't have like half the skills that the males have to actually like benefit the country or their families. And like on the if I have right here is an image. It's like show like the top 10 like yeah it show like the top 10 country with the best equality. Ireland, Finland, Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Nicaragua, Rwanda, Ireland, Philippines, and I can't pronounce that last one. And on the right, like at the bottom, it shows it shows like the bottom, like the poorest countries compared to it. And India is ranked 114th out of the 150 countries. And with that, like there's also a pattern. Like as we notice, like all majority of countries in that top 10, those countries like those countries like they're financially secured and they're prospering with with low fertility rate, because those females they got the same opportunity as the males. Yeah, they have the same opportunity that males are benefiting. Yeah, they have the same opportunity as the males compared to those countries. And the countries at the bottom, they're usually like the ones that like worst, like that are dealing with the genocide, poverty, etc. So the action that India is taking right now, so like more like India not like India like they're taking action right now for like illegal immigration, but like putting borders around like the put fences around their borders to like prevent the immigrants from going in with guards, which I think is a bit drastic. But I understand why they're doing it because like they just simply can't support those immigrants at the moment. And with that, like India did not take it. Like, they're getting better with trying to educate females and like banning and like they put a bandage or like they make early marriage illegal in 2006. However, it's still prominent in the country because about every other citizen is doing it. Definitely like more rural areas. And like outside organizations, they're helping like families like educate their female, like educate the women, their family, and not just that, but like also just the family as a whole. Provide therapies like therapy, just educate them about like what they're doing is possibly harmful to like just their not only to their family, like to their family members, but also to the country as a whole, which is really interesting. But it's something that India personally has to take action in. An action that I believe that we can, that action that can be taken, like they can provide families, yeah, like the country like itself, they can like provide like they can make it mandatory for all females to get educations and force their daughters to go to schools. Like while education is free there, like they can probably like they can make it a section by making it just they can make it free for females, so that way like the family don't have an excuse like, oh yeah, like we just can't afford to have my daughter to go to school, so we have to prioritize our sons not. But now they can. It also like since India is also part of the United Nations and like other world organizations as well, like they can actually just ask for help, like ask for assistance for like dealing with the immigration from those countries. So like in a way they like ask like for them to get to say like, hey, like we have like we're having an inflow of immigrants from my neighboring countries, and like while we understand like their situation is pretty like the situation is pretty drastic, like it's pretty dangerous right now. Like if we want to help, we can't at the moment. So we want like ask like any of our partners to like any of our allies to like help take them in and just provide those sentences a home. At the moment, like when we're able to when while and when we're able to take care of them, they will take them in. And finally, like one area, India, like 93.5% of the citizens are in favor for sex education. So at the government, they could just make it. So the government, they can actually just make it free, like provide clinics that educate, provide clinics or just teach it in school, like teach the younger generation about sex, contraceptions, and family planning. Cause this will help like just lower overall population. Yeah, this will just help lower overall population growth. Just like in the way China's doing right now by just educating, like provide all these policies, not provide policies, like just educating, like making sure like people understand like the consequences of them having like a certain amount of children, or like not be a, or just like yeah, except and I'm just gonna cut myself right there. Another action I just thought about, just like how China had like the one children policy, one child policy, like India they could implement another they can implement a policy just like that. While that policy is somewhat controversial right now, I think India kind of needs something like that. So like maybe like a three children policy, so that way people don't go overboard with having kids. And unless like the kids are like twins or triplets is something, like and you want to like you want to have like more than 3 kids, then you find the citizen, or like, yeah, find them, or like just get them some type of consequence for it. And what really what we can do to help India with this situation, like, cause most of this come from like education. Cause most of this like overpopulation is somewhat come from ignorance. So I said we educate like we just set up schools to help educate them, and like try to like get rid of that societal norm they have about females, and what, 'cause, like India, like they could just like India, like they're in charge of trying to deal with the early marriage issue. Like that's something they could do, but this is something that we could help them with. It also like like this one I'm not so sure about. Like we could try like in those neighboring countries, we could try to help with the political conflicts that the neighbor countries are experiencing. So like try to get like, well, I'm not sure how we're going to try to motivate them to like, hey, like just document genocide, but we could try to, like, convince the people like, hey, like what the rulers you keep putting up, the rulers that you keep hiring, like put into office, like they're not helping you guys at all. Like try, it's my like just kind of convince the people, like find new rulers, and like just stop like and just stop the infighting they're experiencing, in order to like just make their entire life better. And finally, show the show the people in India how important women are to like your overall country health and development. It's like we can make them look over to like Western societies, and like Western society and like other countries like Japan and stuff, like when they're having like a more, when our countries are equal, like when gender equality is like almost not, is at minimum or almost non-existent. Because those countries, they're not dealing with, I say those countries, they're not dealing with poverty. Excuse me. Yeah, they're not dealing with poverty, early marriage, etc. Like, because they realize we need a balance in order to keep our country in check, and keep the progress going. And also, like those countries, those fertility rates are extremely low because of it. And there's just some a couple of questions, just for the audience to figure out. Just a couple of questions overall, just to end the presentation. So like for the audience, it's like, what year does India surpass China population growth? What was India population? What was India population in 1942, and what it is now? Why is early marriage a factor for overpopulation? What countries does India's illegal immigrants come from? And why do Indians prefer males over females? And my last question to end this presentation: will slowing down the population growth help India's overall population problem? This is Tyrell. Thanks for listening.